Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to once again welcome you all to this live stream brought to you by SDI Media on YouTube in relation to True Story series. Inshallah, as mentioned yesterday, I will be speaking to you today in regards to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam and the great kingdom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted and bestowed to him. Before we move on and to speak in regards to the great kingdom of Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam, let us begin with sending salutations upon Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. And please repeat after me with love and affection. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habib Allah. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabi Allah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nur Allah. Sallallahu ta'ala alayka wa sallam. The story of Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam is mentioned in Surah Al-Naml, as Naml actually refers to the ant which Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam was conversing with. And so this surah is known as Surah Al-Naml, and the tafsir which I'm using is Ruh al-Bayan. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam was granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a great kingdom. He used to travel around the kingdom on his throne by air. His travel extended over humans, and his control extended over humans, jinns and birds that formed his army when needed. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam also understood the language of animals. When Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam completed the construction of Baytul Maqdis, he decided to go on a visit to the Kaaba Sharif. He announced his intention to his subjects, and preparations were made for a sacred journey. He took on his journey humans, jinns, birds and animals. A great convoy was assembled, then formed a line 30 miles long. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam ordered the air to lift his throne and take it to the Kaaba, as he had control over the air as well. No sooner did he say the air took his throne there. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam spent a few years in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Every day he would sacrifice 5,000 camels, Allahu Akbar, 5,000 cattle and 20,000 goats as a sign of thanksgiving to his Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would also tell his subjects about the coming of the final messenger, Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, who would be born there. He informed them that after this great being, no other prophet would come to mankind with guidance. Meaning he would give them the glad tidings of the coming of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam left Makkah and went to Yemen. A journey from Makkah to Sana'a in those days took a month, but because Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam had control over the air, it took a lot shorter. He left Makkah al-Mukarramah in the morning and arrived in Yemen at midday. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam intended to stay in Yemen for a good few years. A bird known as hoopoe flew very high into the sky and could see most of the land beneath it. One day he saw a big garden. Hoopoe became curious and went down to investigate. Hoopoe, the bird, he saw another bird nearby and approached it. The approaching bird asked Hoopoe where it came from and where it was going. Hoopoe explained that he belonged to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam, who was the Prophet of Allah and also a great king. Hoopoe proceeded to inquire, to which the bird said, "I live in this land which is ruled by a queen called Bilqis. She has 12,000 ministers, and under each one of them 100,000 people." They were engrossed in their chatter as the bird of Bilqis showed Hoopoe the sights and scenes of her lands. The two flew away off to see the queen's parade. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam was meanwhile waiting patiently for Hoopoe to return with some water. Sulayman alayhi salam became quite angry, and when vowed to kill Hoopoe when he returned, Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam told an eagle to fly up and see where he had got up to. The eagle flew very high so he could see a good view. He eventually found Hoopoe. The eagle told him that Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam had vowed to kill you if he was ever find you. Hoopoe became scared, and he asked the eagle whether that was all he said. The eagle told him that it was either that or to bring him a light torch. Hoopoe then thought that he had a way of escaping on early death. He went back to the eagle with the eagle to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam. Hoopoe presented himself to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam fully conscious of his anger. And Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam grabbed him by the throat and was about to strangle him when Hoopoe said to him, "Remember the time when You must present yourself to Allah. On hearing this, Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam let go of Hudhud. In order to win Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam's trust back, Hudhud told him about what he saw and heard. The most astonishing thing Hudhud told Sulayman alayhi salam about was the throne of Bilqis. According to the historians, we learned that this throne was made of gold and silver. It was decorated with very expensive jewelry. A huge palace housed with the throne that was placed under security by numerous smaller rooms. House after house secured this throne. A small piece of cloth draped the throne as well. And this was a very special piece of cloth. The dimension of a throne was 80 yards long and 40 yards wide, and 300 yards tall. The legs of the throne were made out of red pearls, yellow pearls, green stones, and white pearls. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam listened carefully to what Hudhud had told him. What he decided to do was to send a letter to the Queen of Yemen telling her to accept Islam. This letter was sealed and had Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim written on the letter. The letter was given to Hudhud to deliver to the Queen in person. Hudhud, according to some historians, found her asleep and so left the letter on her bedside. Bilqis woke up to see the sealed letter and read it carefully. She assembled her ministers in her presence and discussed at great length as to what the sensible course of action would be. Some ministers were contemplating waging a war against Sulayman alayhi salam. They felt that he could pose a threat to his kingdom. But in the end, Bilqis decided against any likelihood of a war, as she knew that defeat would mean their total ruin. What she decided to do instead was to send some lavish presents to the palace of Suleiman alayhi salam. She felt that if he was truly on his word, i.e. he was the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he would refuse the gifts. But if he was an ordinary ruler, then he would accept the gifts. Bilqis' council endorsed her final proposal. So what did Bilqis do? Bilqis then sent 500 male and 100 female servants, dressed in fine clothes, on fine horses, which were also adorned with valuable jewels. 1,000 gold and silver bricks and a crown studded with valuable gemstones were presented with numerous other valuable gifts along with a letter. Hudhud reported to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam about the intention of the queen. What Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam did in response was to emulate the actions of Bilqis to such an extent that it brought shame to her representatives who came to meet them. What Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam did was very beautiful. Subhanallah, listen to this carefully. He ordered the jinns under his control to make a road stretch 6 miles made out of gold bricks. Along the road would also be high walls, also made out of gold and silver. He ordered the animals to form a perfect line along the route that would greet the coming guests. Next to the throne of Sulayman alayhi salam was placed 4,000 golden chairs to his right and 4,000 to his left. All his council and close friends all sat on these chairs. The effect on the Queen's messenger was such that they were too embarrassed to offer the gifts they had brought from their majesty. The messenger finally summoned the courage to present the seemingly worthless gifts to the king, i.e. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam was quite stern in what he had to say to the representative. He told him that he did not desire any worldly goods from them or anyone else, and if he did, he would acquire it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam's message was simple: accept Islam and save yourselves. If you don't, then we will defeat you with such force the world has never seen before. If the messenger wasn't speechless when he arrived, he most certainly was when he left. He returned to tell Bilqis of the message Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam had to give. Bilqis now firmly believed that he was only truly the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not a tyrant. The idea of challenging him seemed illogical on the light of the evidence and experience before them. The Queen Bilqis decided then to go and pay a visit to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam in person. Hudhud told Sulayman alayhi salam of her intentions. He gathered all his people again and asked them, this time, who can bring me the throne of Bilqis before she arrives? Allahu Akbar. A jinn stood up and said, it will bring the throne of Bilqis well before this meeting ends. And it has been said that Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam's gatherings would begin in the morning and would end in the evening. So this would mean that he would be able to bring it within a day. Suleiman alayhi salam was not satisfied with the answer, and he asked again if anyone could bring it any quicker. And in that time, a man who had some knowledge of the book, as mentioned in the Quran, that he had ilmul kitab, he had some knowledge of the book. He stood and said that he could bring the throne of Bilqis in front of Suleiman alayhi salam in the blinking of an eye. Before he even finished his sentence, the throne was presented in the court of Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam. It has been said that this man's name was Asif Barkhiya. Hazrat Asif Barkhiya, rahimahullah, he was able to bring the throne of Bilqis in such short time. Bilqis arrived in the company of Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam to find her throne there, and straight away, upon seeing this miracle and this mu'ajizah of Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam, she accepted the message of Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam and accepted his prophethood. Subhanallah, what a beautiful story. Now, a few things that we learn from this story. The first thing is the distance between the throne of Bilqis and Suleiman alayhi salam staying was 2 months' journey. However, in the blink of an eye, Sayyidina Asif Barkhiya was able to bring the throne of Bilqis to the court of Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam. And in the Quran, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to this person as the one who had a little bit of knowledge of the book. Now, if a person has a little bit of knowledge of the book and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants him such powers, then imagine the powers granted to the Anbiya Kiram and to the Awliya Kiram and the Ulama Kiram, the Sahih Ulama Kiram of this Ummah. If this person who was a servant in the court of Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam had a little bit of knowledge of the book, imagine the power granted to Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam. And if this is the power granted to Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam, imagine the power of Sayyidina Imam al-Anbiya, the Imam and the leaders of all the prophets, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah. Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam, as the story comprehensively shows, was the master of men, jinns, birds and animals as well. However, as our Messenger sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has mentioned last week on Saturday, a beautiful speech was conducted by Hafiz Salim Noori, rather it was Sunday if I'm correct, in regards to Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam being the paragon of mercy. Sayyidina Hazrat Sulayman alayhi salam is the leader of people. He is the leader of the world. However, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam is rahmatul lil alameen. He is the mercy of the world. Imagine the power granted to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Now, another story in regards to Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam. 2 people came to Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam to try and resolve a problem. One argued the other person's sheep ate all the grapes in his field at night. Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam felt that it was necessary in this case that all the sheep would be given to the plaintiff. The sheep would be ample compensation for the loss of grapes. When the 2 men returned, they saw Suleiman alayhi salam and they told him about the decision of his father had made in regards to their dispute. Having heard the judgment, Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam offered his own solution to the dispute. Now remember, Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam is the son of Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam. Having heard the judgment, Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam offered his own solution to the dispute, and the suggestion Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam gave was that as long as the grape trees were damaged, the plaintiff continued to get milk and wool from the sheep. Once the grape trees bear fruit again, one would get his produce back and the other would get his flock of sheep returned to him. The 2 parties liked the agreement and abided by it. When Dawood alayhi salam heard the decision of his son, at that time Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam was at only the age of 11. Remember, he was only age of 11. Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam was too content with the decision made by Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam. Sayyidina Suleiman alayhi salam was so wise, subhanallah, that he gave such a wise decision that because the person A, we'll name it person A and person B for understanding purposes. Person A had a tree made of that had grapes bearing on them, and person B's sheep ate the grapes from that tree without the permission of person A. As a result, person A wished to get compensation. So he asked person B to give something in compensation. Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam said to give all the flocks in compensation, meaning the sheep that he had, give it all away in compensation. But Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam, at the age of 11, he said no, rather give the sheep until that tree is bearing fruits again. And so this person A can take benefits from the milk and the wool of the sheep and continue his business until the fruits are bearing again on that tree. And when that happens, when fruits start to grow on the tree again, he's able to sell those fruits and make a livelihood. Then he can give his flocks back to person B. Subhanallah, subhanallah. This is in Surah Al-Anbiya and Tafsir of Ruh al-Bayan. And inshallah, one final story in regards to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam and the angel of death, Sayyidina Israel alayhi salam. A man came to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam in a very frantic and frightened mood. He asked Sulayman alayhi salam whether or not he should ask the wind to take him to India. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam was bemused by the request and asked the man why. He told the king that the angel of death was looking at him in a very peculiar and strange way, as if he was the next victim of Sayyidina Israel alayhi salam, Malikul Maut. He said, I don't feel safe, please take me to India. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam therefore ordered the air to take the man to India, which it did. After a while, the angel of death came to Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam and said that he had heard the conversation between you and the man. Allah then ordered me to go to India and take his soul. Subhanallah. Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam actually inquired as to why he was looking at that man. And Sayyidina Israel alayhi salam replied, the reason is because I had been ordered to take the man's soul in India. I was wondering, I was confused as to why this man is here and why is he not in India. Now you have sent him to India. Now I went and took his soul from India. From this you understand the power that Sayyidina Sulayman alayhi salam has been granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But along with that, also the fact that wherever death is written, you will always end up in that place. Subhanallah. That person was meant to die in India. So as a result of this situation, he ended up in India, and Sayyidina Israel alayhi salam took his soul from there as well. Let us raise our hands and make dua through the wasila of the Anbiya Kiram. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الحشر وقنا حساب الميزان وأدخلنا الجنة الفردوس مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم يا كريم يا كريم. أستغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه. اللهم أجرنا من النار يا مجير يا مجير يا مجير. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وعملا متقبلا وشفاء من كل داء. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وأفضل أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Jazakallah for tuning in. Inshallah, I hope that you will have learned something from this. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.